Hello again, guys. I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to Big Bud Farm. So, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, or quarter past 6, and as you can see, our bank balance is looking considerably healthier. I did the job. I harvested field 4. It was a nightmare. 7.5 hours I spent harvesting that field. I actually ran out of fuel towards the end as well. I had to do a real switching job to try and get fuel into the combine so I could actually finish off the job. Running out with an hour to go, on harvesting time was not fun. But got it done, got paid very well, and I'm going to put that little bit of footage from the harvesting into a separate video, which I'll link in the description below, so you can check that out and see what happened. And then after that, I also then fertilised field 4 as well. So we're currently sitting with 451,000 on hand, which is pretty nice. And you can just see there's a fuel trailer just poking out there. I had to buy one of those as part of the Operation Rescue the Harvester yesterday. Again, you'll be able to see that footage by clicking the link in the description below. So, we have 451,000 on hand. We have about another 150,000 to us available in a loan. And we also have our combine parked up here at the store. So, we're going to sell this combine and we're going to replace it with a CR1090. So let's trade this in. We'll get 239,000 for the combine. There we go, that's sold. And now we'll do the header as well. Another 38,500 for the header. So we're up to 728,000. Now on top of that, those beets that we harvested last night, you can see the price at Small Farm has climbed all the way up to 1,002 per 1,000 litres. So we're going to sell our soybeans as well. But before we do that, let's buy the combine. There we go. And now we need to buy 2 headers for it. So we want the folding 9-metre header here, which will allow us to branch into sunflowers and corn. And we also want the 45-foot draper as well. So there we go. So we're down to 192,000. And we have ourselves a newer, bigger combine. Biggest that we can currently get in the game. So I'm going to ferry this across to the farm. And I will catch you guys in just a moment. So we've got the combine coming back to the farm, our brand new CR1090. We've got the corn header attached at the front, and we're towing our draper. We're going to park this in the silo sort of bunker area things, these big hangars. We'll park it down at the bottom end of the farm where the old one was. And you can just see I've got my buddy Jay with me today. Say hello, Jay.
Hello, guys.
Jay is going to be helping me out for a couple of episodes. So we're going to go and deliver the grain that we harvested in the last episode. And because we don't want to take a hit on the price, then what we're going to do is tip both trailers at exactly the same time, so that all 131 litres will be sold at $1,000 per 1,000 litres. So if you want to go grab one of the big buds, Jay, I'm going to load up the trailers, and then we'll head down to Small Farm, and then we'll tip our grain.
Okay, mate.
There we go. This is the first time I've actually seen these silos in operation. Obviously I tipped in the grain when I finished harvesting last night. This is the first time I've seen the pipe in operation. It's quite nice. So we're a little bit cumbersome here, having backed into the second one here. I think I might have to approach from the other side next time I do some loading and unloading, so I can approach the pipe straight on rather than at an angle. So ZJ is plodding along slowly at 19 miles an hour, making his way down there. I wonder if we can beat him down there. Probably not, but you never know. We can go more than twice as fast as he can. Alright, so here we are at the sell point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive all the way over and disconnect about there. Right, now I'm going to go and reverse onto the other side. So if you want to connect up to that one there, Jay, and tip when I give you the signal.
Ready, go.
You're connected up, yeah?
I'm all ready, yes.
Okay. All right, let's tip. Beautiful. I'm just watching that money going up. So if we've done this right, we should get around about 130,000 for this crop. Still going up. Still more grain to go. Oh,
That's me done.
Jay's done. And that's me done. 131,885. That's awesome. Alright, do you want to just disconnect that trailer there, Jay? Disconnect from the dolly. I'm going to reconnect it with the truck. If you want to take the big bud back to the farm and grab the cultivator. We'll start cleaning those fields and prepping them for another go. Actually, no. We need to fertilise them first. So if you want to grab the Breedle manure spreader,
Okay.
well, yeah, fertiliser spreader, and start fertilising field 3.
Yep.
Ooh, that was a little bit close. Let's drive onto the field to turn around, and we'll head back to the farm. I can't see out the wing mirror. We must have cleared him by now. There we go. Is that a big bud I see in front of me? I think it is.
actually slowly catching the car in front up. Believe it
Yeah,
or not.
I'm catching you up a lot faster than you're catching that car. You might want to check your rear view mirror.
Good job I didn't turn off there.
Okay, so we have 325,000. That's fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay off the loan. So let's go into our finances. Let's pay off the loan. Repay. There we go. So we now have 170,000 effectively. And from that we can now put any money we get towards buying field 1. So Jay's going to go off and do the fertilising. I'm going to grab the other big bud. There it is. I'm going to go grab our cultivator.
I have 43 or 45% in this tank at the moment.
That'll be fine. Yeah. A full 100% allowed me to fertilise both fields 3 times, and did that in just under half. So, or just over half the tank. So, you've got more than enough to put a couple of stages on each field. So I'm going to park up just here while Jay fertilises the fields, and while he's doing that I am going to take the truck back up to the top and carry on with some logging. So we'll catch back in with you guys in just a moment. Okay, so I am chopping down some trees here. Jay is busy fertilising away for us, as you can see. Give me a shout when you've fertilised that field and done field 5 as well, and then I'll come down and we'll start cultivating and seeding.
Okay, mate, shall do.
I think we might need to actually have a proper dedicated logging area if we do logging as a definite way to make some money on this map, because these trees, they're decent, but you know, they're not fully grown, so they're not the thickest of trees, they're not the longest of trees, and the last load we did only got us about 12,000. So we could do with a little bit, you know, a little bit bigger, more, you know, more valuable trees going forward, I think.
Especially on a farm this size.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's a question of, do I... There's not a lot of free land real estate unless I use one of those meadowed areas, and that's something we could definitely look at. You know, turning one of those into a little forest area. Let's actually open up the map and have a look. So we've got the one by the above the BGA bunker. That's the reset point. I'd quite like to keep that as grass. You know, actually plough that over and turn that into a workable grass field. We have got this strip above the shop. We could turn that into a forestry area. That'd be quite good. Quite a long, thin thing. It would be quite nice to just have a dirt road going down the side and then just rows of trees. I think that would work quite well. So maybe in a future episode what we'll do is actually plant a load of trees in there. How are you finding that Breedle?
It's not too bad.
I think it's the
just
perfect size for the 450, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the initial. It's just the initial trying to find where the edge of the spray point is.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of practice. You'll have a bit of an
Yeah.
overlap issue as well. Don't be afraid to overlap slightly because you'll end up with a thin strip on the side of the field anyway. So even if you try and maximise your working width, so don't be worried about being absolutely perfect width-wise every single pass because you'll end up with a thin strip anyway. So you can afford to overlap a bit. That'll be the same on field 5. You'll end up with a slightly thicker overlap on field 5.
It's funny because you see that you watch the videos on YouTube and you think these fields are, well, they are absolutely colossal size, but when you drive them they're not actually that massive. I suppose they would be with smaller equipment, but
Well, yeah, this is the thing. I mean, they don't look that big, but I mean they're pretty good, decent size, and they look small because you're comparing them against the other large fields on this map, which are huge. But you compare them against the starting fields on Goldcrest or Sosnovka or, you know, almost any of the sort of maps out there. You know, take out the maps by Oxygen David from that equation because he always gives you, he almost always gives you the largest field in the game as your starting one of your starting fields. He did it on Chellington. He's done it on Thornton. He's given you pretty large fields to get started on Sandy Bay. But generally your starting fields are pretty small, and they're much smaller than the starting field that we have here in field 5. Field 5, it takes an hour and a half to harvest that field with a single combine.
gives you a bit of a sense of scale that way.
Yeah, and if you scale your equipment down to starter tractors and a starter combine, that's going to take you a hell of a long time. If you're working to a 3 to 6 meter working width, as opposed to a combine that's got a 35-foot header and cultivating and planting equipment that's 18 meters, as opposed to say 6, makes a big difference. You're planting 3 times faster than something that you might normally start with. So it just helps make the fields feel smaller.
Yeah, definitely. And that was significantly noticeable when you done your comparison on the Big Bud review video, when you were running like the bigger seeder against the Airwalk and the cultivator.
Yeah, well, one of the things I wanted to do was just show just how much of an increase in working width we get with the new equipment. A lot of people kind of just were quite negative about the DLC before it was released, saying, "Oh, we don't need this equipment. It doesn't bring anything to the game," and it really does. It opens up so much more in terms of possibilities. I mean, before the biggest corn and beet seeder that we had was 9 meters. Now it's double that. It makes planting corn a joy rather than a slog.
I will admit I was one of those negative people. To start with, I really wasn't thrilled about the Bud DLC. Because, like you say, you think to yourself, well, what if you're only running a map like Thornton or even Drumhead? You'd never dream of taking it around there because.
Well, no, Drumhead you wouldn't need it. I mean, the only piece of equipment really that would be usable on Drumhead, I think, would be the Cultiplow. But even then, you'd need a 450 horsepower plus tractor to really utilise it. You probably need 500 plus to compensate for the hills on Drumhead.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't need it really on that farm. But that's the smallest farm on the game, Drummond, at the moment until Kendall comes out. So
yeah,
it doesn't even utilize the full a full map. You look at something like Thornton Farm. You can get away with some of the equipment on Thornton. Sandy Bay, you can use quite a lot of the equipment on Sandy Bay because there's some big fields on that.
yeah.
Lawfolds, this equipment is a godsend for Lawfolds because you've got lots of big fields, lots of long, um, long length, wide-ish fields. But working width is key to
Pretty
really
decent.
cutting down some of the operating time on that map. And then you've got maps like American Outback and this one where you've just got ridiculously large fields. And you really need the Big Bud DLC, to cut down on the working width. I wouldn't want to tackle this farm without the Big Bud DLC. I really wouldn't.
No,
Be here forever.
no. Yeah, and that's one field.
Really hope people actually take the time to watch my Tomb Raider playlist that I launched this morning.
Oh, is that out already? Is it?
I launched it today. Recorded the first 4 episodes a couple of nights ago, and then put the first one live this morning. And I'm uploading parts 2 and 3 at the moment because I'm going to release the first 3 episodes, 1 episode a day, and then next week I'm going to go to 1 every 2 days.
I'll have to give that a look later when
It looks
I don't
absolutely stunning. It really does look beautiful. Yeah, gorgeous graphics. I don't know how much of that is because I'm on a pro, but I only have a 1080p display, so
gonna say that's not
I
the
can't see the
optimal
improved
format.
visuals in that respect, and I don't have HDR on this TV either. So the visuals that I'm seeing will be that should be the same that everyone else will see, unless
Yeah,
they have a
got a
better
4K
display.
tick. Yeah, that's the only problem I found with the PS4 Pro is that it's only worth it if you're running a 4K telly.
Well, no, I mean it is worth it in general. If you need a replacement console, then it's worth making the upgrade because then, you can just get a 4K display, at your leisure, and you've got the system already in place.
Yeah,
But to get the most out of it, yeah, you want a 4K display. But it doesn't mean it's compulsory that if you don't have a 4K display, it's a complete waste of money because it's just not the case. You will get, some improvements on some games. You'll get more stable frame rates, and so on and so forth. But to really get the best out of it, yeah, you kind of want a 4K display. I'm waiting. I'm hoping that next year we're going to see some nice smallish sized 4K monitors available that have HDR. Because there are 4K monitors out there at the moment, but they don't have HDR. They're kind of still in the prototype stages at the moment. And I'd rather, if I'm going to buy a secondary display purely for the Pro, I'd rather that it was something with HDR as well.
well, that's something I've got to start looking at is trying to find a little bit smaller, but still a 1080 telly, just so I can have my PS4 running whenever I like to. Because at the moment I'm running on the family's on the family's telly, and it kind of eats up into my other half. She likes to watch telly, and if I'm farming, she can't watch telly, and she has to sit there and watch it on her phone. And it does wind her up a little bit, which I can kind of get. Um, but at the same time, if I get another telly, I can just disappear and put myself into a little corner and farm as much as I like, and then she can't batter an eyelid, has it really? Hopefully, that's the plan. I mean, she's generally pretty cool about it. I mean, um, I think it was last week. I was literally on it every night, and she got a bit sick of it, to be honest. Just seeing tractors all the time, all night, and a lot of the time she'd have gone to bed by like 10 o'clock. But usually we'd both sort of sit downstairs, watch telly for a few hours, and then trundle off to bed. And sometimes she'd go up to bed and I'd still be gaming at 3 o'clock in the morning. So
Feeling neglected.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, dangerous game to play that.
Yeah. So is Farm Simulator because it's very addictive.
No, I mean,
I think it's more.
the neglect is a dangerous game to play.
Yeah, yeah. You're right there, definitely. But I have found though since I've got my internet up and running, and the option the availability of multiplayer has come along. Because before I never had that. I was literally just career moding it all the time. So I never played it half as much as what I do now. And like I say, as the accessibility of multiplayer has come into interaction, I find myself wanting to play it more and more and more, because it's not just the gaming side of it. You've got the social side and the interaction side as well. So
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you mean in terms of the
uh,
social aspect. I mean, I was one of the fools who bought into Destiny on day one, and it was a huge disappointment as a game. That people who bought in year one really got screwed over royally,
really,
and it wasn't until a year after release that the game finally kind of started to resemble what it could and should have been from launch. Um, but by that point, I'd given up on it, you know,
yeah,
and there was a social aspect because the game was really short. There wasn't much content at all. Um,
really,
but I would play it every day. I put well over 1,000 hours into that game because I was having fun playing with friends. So we just ended up doing the same shit over and over and over again every day. And the second night, I then ended up having a falling out with a couple of members of the clan I was in, and when I left the clan and I stopped talking to the people that I'd been gaming with, my interest in the game just stopped almost overnight.
yeah.
It was the social aspect that kept me playing, and the second that social aspect disappeared, I just stopped playing the game.
It ceased to become fun after that. Then
Yeah, I will say, like I said, I got enjoyment because I was playing with, with friends. That was where I was getting the enjoyment out of, not the game itself, but the social side of it. And as soon as that disappeared, the game was just, a waste of time.
right, Field 5 is now done. Should take this back to farm.
Awesome stuff. Okay, I'm going to meet you back at the farm then, and we'll get planting. What would you rather do, cultivate or plant?
It matters nothing to me. Either one is just as good as the other. Both
All
got to be
right.
done.
All right. Yeah, just want to pull up there, and if you want to jump into the other big bud
Yeah.
and start cultivating. I'm going to clean this one off. I'm going to leave this unit up here so that we can just hook up to it nice and easy rather than putting it away. And then I'll grab the seeder and I'll come start seeding on the field. I think we'll go for something other than soybeans because I haven't actually checked the market, but I think we pretty much destroyed it by tipping in all those soybeans earlier.
Yeah,
I've
they're
cut
pretty
down a
much
whole load of
slammed up
trees as
themselves.
well, so we can load those up and sell those when we're waiting for the stuff to grow.
You've lost the market by about £200 per 1,000 litres.
Oh, is that all?
2,000, yeah, yeah. Small farms are still running at 801.
It's bounced back a little bit then while we've been playing because it would have been lower than that. I'm sure it would. Yeah, only a $200 drop. That's not too bad.
Oh, this cultivator feels well weird when it unfolds.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, the way it kind of
Yeah,
walks its way back towards the tractor and then flops down on the floor.
yeah.
All right. I think we'll go for sunflowers next. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well,
We've got the
we've
header
definitely
for it
got the
now.
width. Yeah, and the header, yeah, but we've got the width to plant it without falling asleep, shall we say?
Ooh, getting a little bit of frame rate drop.
Oh yeah, holding steady at 45.
That should ping. No, I'm talking about just frame rate lag. Um, just juddered a little bit as I was pulling up to the seed tank.
Ah,
Right, let's change the seed. Just gone past it. There we go. Sunflowers. There's our new combine, all parked up in its glory, ready to go.
all shiny,
Yep.
shiny
Just
and
cost
new.
8,000 to refill the seeder.
Couldn't have been lot out of it then.
A few thousand litres. I think about 3,000 litres.
I had to laugh earlier on when I was waiting for my other half to finish work. I was flicking on Facebook and I see someone had actually made a bridge out of chaff in one of these rivers
I've seen that
to
done
go
with
over.
wood chips, yeah.
Yeah, I think they dropped a load of logs in there to start with, and then just filled it up with chaff and it flattened it out. And it, to be honest, it actually looked pretty bloody good.
Yeah, as like I say, I've seen people do that with wood chips quite a lot. I haven't seen it done with chaff, but same principle.
Yeah. Are you going to be Are you going to be coming up to field three anytime soon? Because if not, I'll just reverse back and go back down the same line. Otherwise, I'll go back the other side of the field.
I'm already starting seeding. So no, yeah,
Right. Okay.
come back now next to it because I've started slightly offline because there's going to be a seed overlap as well, like there was with the fertilizer. So you can run right next to what you've done without any risk of bumping into me.
I just don't want to collide.
Yeah, it won't be an issue. Don't worry about it. There's a gap.
That's just magical, that isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely magical.
love to see tractors working in unison like this. Alright, so we're just about out of time for this episode. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe. Be sure to check out my other farms as well. And be sure to check out my new Tomb Raider playlist as well. It's an epic game. And I really do think you'll enjoy watching that. So once again, thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you back on Big Bud Farm very soon.